select.
And I'd love to see Lava get a little bit more agency on his shoulders. Look, if nothing else, again, you've got nothing to lose at this point, right? I mean, the opinion, the public perception on Lava right now is not very high. Slams the Azir immediately. All right, I'm still in your thunder at this point. Dia, Hawk, take it away.
I mean, credit to 4x4. I wouldn't have gotten nearly as excited about the Azir, but notably, not the Rel trade back, because that was banned away by Los Grandes. So instead, Azir for Lava, not going to be super aggressive, but still giving them a little bit of hyper carry later alongside the Poppy. Furia now get the chance to lock in a Sejuani of their own, and I'm not stunned by anything yet. The Azir, I suppose, arguably still the largest part of this draft that perhaps you wouldn't have seen in the games past.
This is a brilliantly crafted draft from Los Grandes so far, however. They banned out the Rel, which has been a common V1. They left open the Kai'Sa and banned Ahri. Knowing Furia would first pick Kai'Sa, they pick Azir. Tuts only has 3 games, as that is exciting. We'll get to that in a minute. Tuts only has 3 games on champions not named Ahri Annie. Ahri's been removed. Azir destroys Annie. So I think this is an extremely intelligent draft from Los Grandes so far, knowing exactly what they're getting themselves into. They can get a favorable bottom lane 2v2 with the Xayah pick as well. And already looking at this draft, Xayah on this pike has to step up big time for Furia.
It looks like there were plenty of reasons to be excited about Azir. Here I am floored by you and 4x4, but now that you pointed it out, I absolutely see the way that Los Grandes have played this. And on the other side, you talk about Pyke, and specifically Xayah. When we're looking at Furia and thinking, hey, maybe they need a secondary carry, maybe they need somebody else that does the damage, Tuts hasn't been that for them recently. Xayah plays like he is that guy.
He absolutely does. Xayah, I think one of the few players on Furia that has yet to lose his confidence so far this split. The Pyke has been filthy. I believe this is the 3rd game of it that we are going to see in Split 2. We also saw it a few games in Split 1. And together with Kai'Sa, look, this is an explosive 2v2. And Dia, as we move forward in the picks and bans, I am already looking for champions that can attack this side of the map and facilitate any sort of bot side play.
You want something that has lane priority in mid lane for Tuts so that you can make sure that bot lane plays are safe as well. That's really difficult to pull off against an Azir, and with now Annie banned away, Tuts' comfort that I will say the Azir soft denied anyway. I'm really curious what we'll get in the mid lane, because you are picking it with full knowledge, but also into a champion that does a whole lot of good.
And so far, the other 3 champions that Tuts has played are Tristana, Jace, and Syndra. Tristana and Jace are gone. So unless Tuts is going to Syndra, we're going to see something new. Now, I will say, I think Syndra is playable here. Not my favorite in Xayah, but it has a playable matchup against Azir, as well as providing a lot of single target DPS. Furia is already bursting at the seams. But the Braum coming through from Los Grandes really indexing into playing for this 2v2 on the bottom side.
Super smart move into the potential of a Syndra pick as well. Braum is just going to provide so much survivability to anyone on Los Grandes. Yeah, like, Stardust is killing it right now.
Oh,
that's what I come away with. Whoa!
Oh, I hate this pick, Dia. You're playing Victor against Azir. And Braum Puppy, you are going to get farmed in the mid lane unless Pyke Sejuani can hover you 24/7, but then where are you supposed to fight? Kai'Sa is the Armageddon lane. That's where you've got to play. I feel like Tuts maybe just not knowing where to go. Now, I will say, if Victor does survive this lane, it's a favorable one-on-one. But the problem is, a good team should never let Victor Azir remain a one-on-one. Once Victor loses Flash, it's a done deal. He can't step up to contest waves anymore. And Los Grandes, lots of range, lots of disengage, lots of space buying, lots of scaling with the Ornn. They had a game plan with this draft, and my word, has it come together.
I mean, good lord, like, running at Los Grandes in the late game is a death wish, but I'm going to take the opposite stance from you here on the Victor, and 4x4, I want to hear your thoughts on this as well. Victor may not be great because he's so vulnerable early, but think about Los Grandes and the fact that they've subbed out their jungler and their top laner. This is a team who I think you can abuse perhaps a lack of synergy on, and 4x4, I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I'm looking forward. Look, it's going to be a spicy game no matter what. It is something that you could take advantage of, but I think it's going to have to come at the bottom lane, right? I think you've drafted yourself some champions that in the bottom lane you could really make some stuff happen, but on the top side you just haven't given yourself that agency. Sejuani is great. Kennen can do a lot of damage, but Sejuani plus a ranged carry, right? Well, Sejuani with the melees to start stacking up that CC, and and into an Ornn, you can just kind of absorb a lot of pressure, right? If Hedon dies pre-6, something has to have gone very right for Furia or very wrong for Los Grandes. But I don't think I'm quite as like merry on high. This is a wonderful draft from Los Grandes. I like it. I like it because you've given Lava some agency. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And look, Zai, he's back on the pike. Absolutely. He's 2-0 on this champion, right? Every pick of the CBLOL has been Pike, Zai Pike. And he's 2-0. I want to see him go 3-0.
Is it silly that I'm excited to see the Ornn Kennen matchup? Like, because Betao doesn't play a lot of non-tanks, and he's been such a good team fighter that I think Kennen is almost the perfect pick to bridge the gap for Furia from team fighter into side lane potential for this really excellent top laner.
Dia, I've got a bit of a stat for you. In Furia's last win, it was Betao on the Kennen, his only game on the champion this split, a 50-minute game against Liberty. Not necessarily the best individual performance.
I was about to say, look, it took you 50 minutes to beat Liberty. All respect.
Fair criticism. Brutal. But go on, Hawk.
No, I mean, that's really it. Like, Betao has played this champion before, but it's definitely not that tank. Ornn favored in the one-on-one, and really, it just feels to me that Furia's composition is all over the place. They've got pick in their jungle and bot lane. They've got a little bit of team fight in their mid and top. Disengage isn't really there. Very much a go-forward style composition against a Los Grandes that is just looking to stand tall and team fight. And look, Los Grandes, that's not been their strongest part of the game so far, but they've given themselves an incredibly simple composition to execute on, and I think that is where a lot of my praise comes from.
I think that's absolutely fair. I mean, you put Braum, Azir, Xayah, Poppy, Ornn together, and you have basically the title card is denial of access denied, probably a better way to put it. There's no way you're getting through all of them. And even with Ayu's Kaisa pick, I find myself sweating 4x4.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. Again, both these teams on the outside looking in. There's a 2-game gap between Furia and the playoffs, a 3-game gap between Los Grandes, and a continuation of their season. The stakes are high, even in the last game of the day. Dia, Hawk, take it away.
As you said, Hawk, Furia desperately needing this victory to secure themselves a spot in playoffs that was but a foregone conclusion at the start of the split. So we gotta hope that the risks that they've taken, that the identity crisis that we see in the draft does not get punished to the degree that we'd expect it to from Los Grandes.
With the date against Vivo Cade Stars next week, Furia, they have a chance to tie in the playoff race and keep things extremely interesting as we move down the stretch, but they've got to get a win here, and all eyes for me on the man in the support position coming on your screen, Zai on this pike. 4-0 this year on the champion, the most recent win coming against Los Grandes just earlier this split. I need to see him step up and generate advantages for Furia, because if this is a slow game, Los Grandes are almost certain to take it in the 5-on-5.
Yeah, the delta is almost entirely out of Pyke, who can accelerate your game to a ridiculous degree. And you said it yourself on the podcast that we had mentioned earlier. Furia, and this was a take you had on said podcast, is closer to losing to Los Grandes than they are to making playoffs. This draft hasn't done them a lot of favors, but it's got to be Zai that does them for them.
Now, Goot clearing on the bottom side's mismatch from the junglers, which does create a power imbalance across the map. That should favor Furia as long as they're not able to give up too much. Proactivity oftentimes comes from said imbalances, Dia, so we'll see how they're able to leverage that.
Early on in the lanes, I won't be doing too much, but with both laners just rushing towards hitting level 2 as quickly as possible. It'll be Los Grandes that win that battle. Netuno striking his first victory bell in the bot side, while Tuts is able to step up to Lava pretty confidently in the early levels before junglers get involved.
And it's crazy how much we've had this game on our screens, Dia, when we have not really talked about Netuno. He has been that consistently performed member on Los Grandes, but it is Tuts getting attention.
I mean, a slow connect, but good flash from Tuts, perhaps even a bit unnecessary, as NL tries to punish him in the mid lane, now pushing up without flash. Tuts is in a really dangerous position, but Lava, on the other side of this coin, doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with.
Yeah, with the cannon minion, it should push back into Tuts, but they got everything they wanted. NL trading flash with Victor is super worth it, because guess what happens when Azir hits 6? Victor can never step up to the wave without cover due to threat of the Shurima Shuffle. It's almost a guaranteed kill for this Azir Poppy, and I think Los Grandes, they're going to be perfectly happy with that sequence. Tuts going to have to play very careful.
You really can't step up to the wave as Hedon. Batal controlling this entire wave up top side, and we'll get the chance to deny a lot of minions as a result. Hedon's weathering the storm pretty well with the Doran's shield as expected, but it's going to be a slow matchup that Hedon is not by any means expected to win. Hedon's power comes later in the game as Goot pops up to pay him a visit and is going to be spotted on vision as a result.
Yeah, but Hedon can just give the wave. It's still going to be a denial from the side of Furia. Now, bottom lane could be the focus. NL on that side, but it's just going to be a Scuttle Crab take. So, nice little win for Furia in the early game. These are the kind of plays that they need to generate those advantages. Batal already working down the first play of the game. Now, this 1v1 obviously not going the way of Hedon early on. Ornn, melee versus range matchup. I mean, what are you supposed to do, right? But the thing is, hang on. This is a Hex Flash Poppy.
Yeah, we're waiting for Hex Flash. Gonna come off cooldown in 3, 2, and 1. NL should get the chance to channel that now. Going for the play.
Go.
Does jump onto Tuts, but instant gravity well turns into a clean disengage. Tuts still has teleport from early on. Plays being made in the bot side. Zai gets the double stun, and Tuno's forced to flash away as Ranger tries to reconnect with his AD carry and will be able to at long last.
Positive Summer Spell trade on the bottom side, though, as it's only Ranger preserving Flash. Sure, Zai blows both of those, but hang on, do they want to dive? NL is not here. This is a denial.
Nice hook forward. Doesn't connect from Zai, but it'll mean good things for Furia, who don't invest that much, and as you say, continue to push upwards in their summoner spell trend. Should be Goot dipping back into the jungle as Lava teleports back into the mid lane. Still going relatively even so far, but we're getting close to level 6, where Tuts is going to be a lot less comfortable.
But I'm loving this proactivity from Goot on the side lanes, trying to attack, and having a lot of information as to NL's whereabouts means that you can continue, create map imbalances, look for places of weakness in Los Grandes' map play, path away from NL, and attack, attack, attack. That's the way to go when you're playing something like the Pyke. I agree with you, you need to be careful to cover your mid lane, but as long as they can do that, should be in a really good position. Here they go.
All right, here comes the Shurima Shuffle. You said it yourself. NL comes in for the easiest execution of his life, and I couldn't have said it better for better myself, Hog. Unplayable.
Just don't pick Victor into Azir. I've seen this so many times in pro play now. As Tuts just level 5 steps up to the wave and gets shuffled back. Really well played by Los Grandes. Excellent focus onto this lane, and with the scaling composition, being able to draw first blood is just a massive, massive, massive play.
And that's even after 2 ganks had connected onto Tuts to essentially 0 effect. He was down a few CS, but Victor was doing just fine after so much attention from NL. It takes one good play to turn this all for Los Grandes and really put Lava in the best position possible. We said we wanted to see a secondary carry out of him, a mid laner that has been lacking so much aggression this season, and now he's got the chance to do it in a lane matchup that he should obliterate.
And not only that, but Lava and NL, when NL came in, did not look coordinated really at all. They struggled to play together. But at this point in the split, I mean, NL almost exclusively playing around the mid lane this game and getting a lot done with it. So credit to the rookie jungler for syncing up with his mid laner at long last and making plays, having the ability to keep their playoff hopes alive with this game, and, you know, for all intents and purposes, ruin Furia's at the same time.
Zai's just taken a reset and will be popping up around the dragon that's been recently started by Los Grandes. A little bit of attention gets paid in the mid lane, but without Goot's ultimate available, no Glacial Prison on Sejuani, Furia have no way to contest what is ultimately the first dragon going over to Los Grandes. An Infernal Drake going to be followed by a Hex Tech in about 5 minutes, with the Rift Herald coming up in 10 seconds.
And now Los Grandes has bought themselves the ability to not fight in the mid game by not being threatened by early soul stacking. A huge dragon take, yet another advantage for this team. And Dia, we are getting to the point in the game where Furia needs to make a play. Goot going to take over to level 6 in a camp or two. I have got to see a proactive move result in a kill or otherwise an advantage for this team. You've got Herald on the map. That's a window of opportunity that you could look for, because the way this game is going, Los Grandes with their scaling teamfight comp is going to roll over Furia.
And in a composition, a team that can sit back and relax isn't even doing that. They're instead taking every possible advantage that Furia is giving over to them. It isn't sit back and farm time for Furia.
Is this an untested Herald?
It's literally just sit back and watch yourself lose the game.
Okay,
Los Grandes are going to secure this, but Batal is on the flank, has level 6, more than that, even 8, as he pops in, gets exhausted instantly, but does land a double stun. This should be a kill going over as Ranger is so low, but Zai can't finish off the kill just yet. Lava going to go down to Batal. And a flash away from Los Grandes means that they only trade 1 kill for the Rift Herald.
Still chasing. Zai looking, has the hook.
Nice. Finish the kill. That's not bad. It's not bad. It could have been gold share. Wasn't, but still, not bad.
Okay, that is what Furia needed, though. Batal going to be able to work down plates as well. So the Herald goes over to Los Grandes, but it's 2 kills traded for none. A bunch of farm denied on the top side as well. Very nicely done. Furia, they need to keep looking for those windows of opportunity. Zai just ticked over to the level 6. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal. And for the side of Los Grandes, you've just got to play a bit more controlled. They want to try to choke Furia out of this game, but this is the part where they need to be careful.
Oh, Tuts avoids the stun, though. This is big, and it could turn the fight for Furia. Flash in from Zai. Remember, should be ticking over. And L gonna get away nearly, but gets autoed by Tuts on the way out. And I need to see these ultimates coming through from Zai once he ticks 6, because as it is, this should be a way bigger gold lead for Furia. Finally had the ultimate available. But what is 3-1 right now could easily have been 5 or even 6-1 had Zai just been a little bit further ahead in experience.
You know, one step at a time, though, because Furia, they are up 1,000 gold. This is what the mid-game composition needs. Los Grandes feeling themselves just a bit too much. Over-aggression in the mid lane once again gives over another kill. And not only that, donated to Tuts, the player we wanted to see step up as the secondary carry on the squad, now sitting at 1-1-1. And look at this, Dia. The side lanes, all 3 of them for Furia, as well as their mid laner. Farming well, have a couple of kills, moving into this mid game, pretty good.
So we mentioned this earlier about how mid lane was basically not a lane for Furia, especially after Lava and NL managed to collaborate on a kill. Haven't seen that play repeated. Tuts has Splash available, managed to dodge a gank just moments ago even without it. And as long as Victor keeps farming appropriately, that's going to be just fine for Furia. Punishing it once is not enough for Los Grandes.
And it's not enough, but Los Grandes, they have the ally of time, right? And what I would really like to see them do, dragon spawning in a minute, just give. You have a spectacular power drop on one item with your composition. Lava is nowhere close to his mythic. Natuno on the Kraken Slayer, while somewhat strong, is not that big, and you're fighting into Kennen, Victor, Pike. This is when these kind of champions want to go. Just wait for 3 items, 2 items on Azir, on Xayah. Play that restrained game and don't allow Furia to extend their gold lead more than they need to.
I will say, even with the weakened static shift, it's really helping the tower as well. He's gonna take down a tower, really no problem, no questions asked, as he's one-man armying it up in the top side, and Hedon just has to weather the storm. Hedon, by the way, who has looked pretty darn good ever since he was pulled up from Academy. Hedon's been, I will say, perhaps not the cornerstone of the roster, but a solid force for them in the top side, despite a lot of doubts.
Oh, leagueclips is rotating a lot of members over to this dragon. Now, Vatao pushing on top with no teleport as Hedon walks down. It might just be a trade of tower for objective, which, not the end of the world for leagueclips. They sacrifice gold, but they do buy themselves more time. Furia maybe gonna opt in to the 4v5. Do they know that the Ornn is here? Yes, they do.
Well, yeah, Zai certainly does. Unfortunately, Goot is not there. There's a nice bump from NL. Make sure that there is no chance that Goot contests the dragon. 2 Drakes over 2 Los Grandes. One that, as you said, Furia could give away anyway, and it devolves back into us just clearing out waves on both sides.
I think that's a positive play for Furia. Los Grandes over-indexing into the dragon play just that little bit. Losing a lot of gold on the top side, not just at the first tower of the game, not just in tower plates, but also in minions. Dia and creeps. The underrated gold income of Summoner's Rift, and now Hedon potentially going to get dove, calls him the Fourth God.
Doesn't have it for the dive, but denies the minion wave as a result. Gonna get CC chained underneath the tower, but sidesteps the hook, and Hedon manages to get out in a 3 versus 1. That's the kind of stalwart top laner that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and the tower juggling not quite there from Furia. It went on to IU, so Furia was forced to back up. If it goes on to Goot with Zai's Ignite, I think they have the damage to win that engagement, but an unfortunate either mistake or unlucky play, whatever you want to call it, means that Hedon does get out alive. Furia, they're maintaining their 2,000 gold advantage, down 2 dragons. Los Grandes, they are focusing on this topside tower, but Furia on their way to respond. And Dio, we are in a mid game right now. Furia, they're ahead. They're not ahead enough, but it's a start.
And our observer highlighting really gorgeously how ahead Furia are, not just in gold, but in the tempo of the game, being able to set up so much offensive vision into the jungle of Los Grandes. They have nearly full information on where the members of Los are, and it's just as the next Rift Herald spawns. This could very well be Furia's first, I want to say, significant objective pickup outside the kills and the skirmishes that have gone their way so far.
Yeah, getting their first neutral, and they can use this to keep pressuring the side lanes. Vatao has been an absolute monster, even able to answer Hedon. So this is an uncontested neutral. Very well played, and yeah, like, the tension is really building in this game. You gotta remember, playoffs hopes and dreams are alive. Worlds hopes and dreams are on the line this game. And while things may have been bleak so far for both these teams, they're in a position where the best time to win was then, the second best time is now. They can still try for a late season push.
Looks like they're doing pretty well at it. Zai keeps connecting with hooks, but undaunted, Ranger and Netuno know how safe they are. Braum, Xayah, incredibly difficult to contest, even with the damage that Furia have. Vatao continuing to lay siege to these bot lanes. He may look small, but he's essentially Yorick at this point of the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, Static Shiv, not as strong anymore, but it melts towers, and I like how Vatao is indexing into the one-on-one. I think this might be the first time we've seen something like this so far this split, Dia, as Vatao so often praised for his team fighting this split, and deservedly so. But this game, he is absolutely just playing for the one-on-one, going for the pure domination tactic, and it is working.
Like I said, I think Kennen is the perfect pick for him, because Vatao, as you said, looks really good in team fights, so Kennen is great for that. And this matter of him indexing a little bit more into playing confident, playing for the side lanes, is just a matter of him believing in himself to be able to index that way and still perform when it comes to 5v5s. Vatao is absolutely trust-falling on Furia right now, knowing that they're going to need to back him up when it comes time for the 5v5s that we know will be coming our way in just a few minutes.
I think interestingly as well, Patel, last time he played the cannon, did not go for the static shiv. It was just a full AP cannon, so just a different style than we're used to seeing from this player. Was certainly working out well, but Dragon spawning in 45 seconds. Los Grandes, they have 2 to their name. And item spikes across the board. Everyone on 1. Nobody in the game has 2. Which, again, I favor Furia in this position in an equal numbers fight. We'll see if that's the case. They're able to find one.
From the mid game, it's about accelerating yourself as much as possible. Furia try and lay down a little bit of extra vision in order to do just that. And they do have priority on the first Dragon rotation. Batao with a teleport available as well. But a hook onto Hedon means very little for Furia. They're not going to be able to capitalize off of that no matter how much pick they have. With Tuts finishing off the bot lane tower,
Nice.
Everybody's rotating up to be ready for this Dragon.
Yeah, nicely played by Furia. They still have the Herald in pocket with both side lane towers down. They should just be able to drop this in mid once they rotate their members over. You can see Patel, they're waiting for him to push up on the side lane. Next minion wave, they should be able to run towards mid with the Rift Herald and either threaten to knock down the tower or threaten the Dragon. Zai does need to get out first, though.
Yeah, Lava arrives, cutting off Zai from the rest of the team. Lava will have spotted him, and it's not answered on the other
They're gonna
side.
get 2 towers.
They've also spotted out the Dragon being started. We're trading towers for what could be a Chemtech Soul Point. NL going to be ready on the smite. Goot cannot get in just yet. Instead, Furia do trade away the Dragon. They get 1 tower. Can they pick up a second in response?
I would really hope they can pick up this mid tower. Okay, they will be able to. And again, Los Grandes, it's an over-index onto the Dragon. 5 members committed with 0 regard for their wave states. More gold and experience in creeps and turrets lost. Map control favoring Furia, a really nice macro sequence. We've still yet to see any sort of explosion, but I think part of it is Los Grandes understanding at, a surface level, hey, if we're grouped up as 5, stand together, it's really hard for Furia to pick one of us, which is really what Furia needs to do.
Also, Furia are playing a good game and being able to pick up advantages, like you say, with these insane amount of towers that they're able to grab up against Los Grandes. But as Los Grandes, I think I'm also looking at this and going, sorry, we're the scaling team and we just got Chemtech Soul Point just because we wanted it? Lava's pretty low. It should be alright though. Netuno does have disengaged, and remember, just before the game, we said that the tagline of Los Grandes is access denied.
But access actually was granted. You can see how low Lava and Netuno and Ranger get chunked. It's really just a trade of cooldowns, but Furia flexing their muscles a little bit, forcing Los Grandes to respect them, and I would just expect everything to slow down again, Dia. Baron on the map now, but we don't have a Dragon for 3.5, and that's really where I expect these teams to fight, unless Furia, I like them lurking in the jungle looking for some sort of play.
As the Baron has spawned, 1 pick can easily mean a game-changing objective. That's what Furia managed to look for right now, especially by laying down even more aggressive vision. We had the vision toggle earlier, but top side for Los Grandes is lit up like a Christmas tree, and they have to challenge Zai to even get a glimpse of what lies ahead. Meanwhile, split push from Batao is going swimmingly, and you've still got very few towers to speak of, as Los Grandes have willingly given those away.
I like this Baron start a lot. Force a response out of Los Grandes. Can maybe get the teleport out of Hidan. No information whatsoever to speak of. But Los Grandes, they have to know something's up. Everyone's off map, but they're... Okay, they check now. Blue trinket goes down.
This is what vision control means, though, is that the Baron is already at half HP. We're going to try for a pick onto Netuno. In they come, and Netuno disappears with that pick. With a 4v5 in Furia's favor, they should be able to finish off this Baron. Goot looking for the smite right now, and he picks it up.
Really well played from Zai in that sequence, Dia, as Furia 6,000 gold to the lead of Baron. Only 1 kill goes down, but it's the only one they need, and they are now firmly in the driver's seat. I wanted to see them get ahead. They most certainly have, as IU with the flash will be able to get away as well.
Makes it work, and Summoner Spell be darned. He's got the backup of the rest of Furia now. Zai's hit the map once more. Goot comes over. Let's take a look at how that went, because this vision control meant so much for Furia.
I mean, Netuno, you just can't be walking in there with your front line standing behind you. That's a huge mistake, but credit to Zai for landing the hook and the follow-up CC. And not only that, Anel was going to get close enough to be able to flash over the Baron wall after that replay, and Zai hooked him back. Just little plays like that. Zai showing why he has been considered a Pyke one trick by many. And I mean that in the most positive way. Just a true connoisseur of this champion.
Good tries to engage onto Ninjuno. This time, Featherstorm is going to be utilized, but a teleport flank could mean much more. Patao gets gate kept out of the fight. Huge ultimate from Zai as well, taking out Netuno.
That hook was disgusting. Zai somehow threads the needle and rips the heart out of Los Grandes again. And now Los is corralled under the Azir tower. They have the damage to clear out the Baron waves. So deny the push for a little bit longer, but look at the side waves, Dia. Furia, foot on the gas pedal.
And even as Furia push up and they're able to secure more objectives, more turrets than they already had a ridiculous amount of, as they retreat, Dragon should be up 30 seconds on a Chemtech, what could have been a soul for Los Grandes, that now is going to be denied by Furia in the last moments.
I'm still, like, shook by that hook from Zai. I have no idea how he found the 2-0, but that was a beautiful play. It nets them the tier 2 and bot rather, and now the only remaining tier 2 is mid lane. Dia, they are 8,000 in the lead after we were concerned about the pace of this game.
Zai has just got Los Grandes' number, if not Netuno's, just about everyone's, as he's going to be able to retreat, pick up a quick reset, and the rest of Furia grab themselves, as we said, the denial point. The Chemtech Drake, their first dragon of the game. This is with still a little bit of time left on Baron for quick resets and plenty of gold going their way, but the scaling from Los Grandes continues.
I see a bit of a scrap on the top side. Los Grandes is moving a lot of members up here. I think they want to commit onto this tower and force a response out of Furia to try to delay the Baron push. At worst case scenario, best case, you find a fight. Furia, they're on the way with Patao splitting. He has no teleport, remember.
Ayu's here as well. This knock-up not going to land. Tower is going to go down, but you traded away for Hedon's life on the side. It is a quick objective bounty that helps soften the blow for Los Grandes, but still, quite scary.
That was a brilliant interrupt from Goot. I don't know if it made a difference, but if the Call of the Forge God comes through, Los Grandes might be able to run forward into them. Instead, Hedon just gets bursted out by this Kaisa, who now sitting on 2 items, full AD, Navori Quick Blades build. And another tower set to drop. This game has exploded.
It's 1 tower for Los Grandes to 6 towers for Furia. On paper, this game is just a Furia obliterating Los Grandes, but look at the gold and how it's reflected there, because that is the unsung story of this game. Furia have been winning, but to the tune of almost 10,000 gold, it hasn't quite felt like it.
I mean, it hasn't quite felt like it, but at the same time, Los has not really been able to find a positive play in a while. They are stuck defending constantly. The initiative is Furia right now, but we are getting to the point of the game where Los might be able to contest 2 items on their carries, 2 items on their tank in the top lane as well. Ornaments gonna start coming through as Netuno does have the Navori Quick Blades upgraded, so there is still potential for them to be able to win this game. They still have this team fight comp, but Zai, 100% kill participation. We joked in the green room about him being the secondary carry of Furia. Might just be true, Dia, as he is lurking.
And he's denying recalls from Los Grandes as well, because look what's happening in their base. Inhibitor tower down, traded for the mid lane, and Zai continues to be a menace on the flank of Los Grandes, continually looking for hooks, denying vision, and enabling Furia and, importantly, Patao to continue their split push game plan.
Now, the way Furia has played out this game, poking, prodding, not opting into a single 5v5 against this team fight comp. I was critical of the draft, and I stand by that, but they are playing this incredibly difficult to execute composition, by the way, brilliantly. They have not opened up Los Grandes' win condition whatsoever, and that has been the difference maker.
30 seconds to Baron, or even a little bit less than that. 2 minutes to the next dragon. Furia can run back what they showed us moments beforehand, and by controlling vision, pick up another huge neutral objective. Los Grandes have had 5 minutes to adapt to what lost them the first Baron, and yet they don't have that much control of their topside jungle.
You get a nice cinematic shot of Baron coming onto the map. Last time Furia just utilized their split push to completely sneak that one away from under Los Grandes' nose. Now, pretty big fight breaking out for control of a mid-wave, but naturally Furia with their superior wave clear and gold advantage, able to get first move.
Gold advantage, super real for them, and Tuts absolutely on Victor is demonstrating the value of this pick later on in the game once he's been able to survive. Goot does get caught on one side, Ranger on the other, barely manages to survive the burst from Zion Tuts.
I think Goot just saved Tuts' life. Call the Forge God is certain death for Victor in that situation. And now, look at Batal. Nobody has teleport. Furia just has to pull this Baron. It's a lose for Los. You either get the Baron and lose your base, or you save your base and give away an objective for free. Hidan has recalled, but now it could be a 4v5 at the objective.
They literally just sent Ranger back. It's a wall that's missing from the fight, but somehow an L walks in and just smites the Baron. Huge shuffle from Lava, and Los Grandes defy Furia once more. The front to back now working very well for them as they're able to pick up massive shutdowns and keep the game in their favor.
The gambit worked. Los Grandes called the bluff. They send Ranger of all people back, and Batal's teleport was interrupted by Ranger, saving the fight in the Baron hit as Los get the Baron, they get the kills, and Dia,
do they?
God, they might even get the soul.
Oh my lord, that is the massive prize at the end of this. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, finally being able to pick up the soul that Los Grandes worked so hard for in the early game. Zai sees it happening, but can do absolutely nothing as Chemtech soul is secured by Los Grandes. That on top of a Baron means that this gold lead, it may as well not exist.
This is a game-saving play from Ranger to get the interrupt. I mean, if there's a cannon in this pit, Los might get cut down, but instead, it's just Lava shredding through Furia. What a performance on the Azir in that fight. Doesn't get any of the kills, but who cares? It's all about those assists. It's all about the damage you're outputting. And here's the problem with a composition like the one Furia has played. One mistake, and everything falls apart.
And that it certainly started to do. Los Grandes, waiting on the minion wave timing, should be able to stack this and crack the bot lane tier 2. Furia inject a little bit of vision into the top side. Batal continuing the, I don't know if we can call this a split push, but certainly solo lane siege. But Furia are losing the battle and the war simultaneously as bot lane crashes and they have no answers.
That's gonna be a TP. Los Grandes, they know they're strong together. 5 members in the base with Baron. They want to put to rest the Furia story.
It is a must-win game for Furia, and they are on the verge of losing it. Los Grandes attempt to disengage, and it looks like they'll be able to get away with it. Zai, the only X factor in this equation, but with faced up with just NL and Hidan, you can't do anything. Pyke's damage, Pyke's pick means nothing into these two tanks.
It's just gonna be a recall. Furia's still commanding a gold advantage despite a 5,500 gold Baron power play. It just goes to show how far ahead they were in this game, but at this point, Dia, look at the inventories. The scaling is here. Los Grandes, their composition is online. Furia now has to get very crafty if they have a chance at winning this game.
Unfortunately for them, Vision Game has been on point so far. While things have been a little bit rocky for Furia in the past couple minutes, they've largely continued their proactive goals of putting down aggressive wards and making sure that at least when Los Grandes make a move, they know about it. With Batal continuing to be put into the side lanes as well, sometimes a neutral game is all Furia need.
Patao's doing a really good job pushing out these super minions very far. It's going to take a long time before they threaten the base. So, well done to Patao, but you need to be careful not to get caught. Hidan is walking down. This is a split call.
IU in lava, but IU's in here like swimwear. Should be able to pick up the kill onto lava momentarily. Call the Forge God, not going to connect onto the Kaisa. And it means that now you have an isolated Hidan as well. As much health as Ornn has, he has to flash away before it takes too much of it. Los Grandes manage a disengage, but after losing one member, what can Furia get for this?
I don't think they can get anything, Dia. There's nothing on the map. It's flashes off of Patao and IU just for a pick. They do get Hidan's flash, but dare I say, this is a favorable exchange for Los Grandes when Elder Dragon is spawning in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Baron, even before that. And you're in a position now as Furia where you've almost got to do something drastic before any of these super buffs spawn. Red Inhibitor now respawning as well. You're losing that push potential you had in bottom. And, I mean, Los Grandes, they're just going to group up around these neutrals and teamfight you. So you've got to find a way to try to pull them around the map.
We've had so many good things to say about Furia during the course of this game, but now that it really comes to it, Los Grandes have weathered in large part the storm. You said it yourself, it takes one big, perhaps even reckless play from Furia to change this, and it's not what their composition was built for. It's why it's so high execution. It's why we talked about this being so difficult of a game for them to win on paper. Furia feeling that right now as they quickly run out of options in the late game.
And so often, as in the case in any sort of sport or competition, there's a very fine line between what could be considered foolish and what could be considered to be bold and ambitious. And oftentimes people are very quick to think that, you know, any sort of bold play, when it does not work, it's foolish. I would not go as far to call Furia overly reckless, overly foolish. They were ambitious. They tried to get the back-breaking advantage. But Los Grandes outplayed them in the sequence. And that was that. But those are the kind of plays, sometimes the risks that you have to take to be able to win a game like this. But yeah, the fact remains,
and now
here and now, the Baron's on the map.
And the margins are ever thinner. You have so much less space to work with. Patao starts crashing the wave, but no longer of super minions. Los Grandes instead gonna start the Baron, and in comes the teleport from Patao. It's on a flank in the top side. Furia need the timing on this to be absolutely perfect, and Patao can't get into the pit in time. Instead, NL manages to find the boot out on Goot and picks up the Baron. Furia try to give chase, but they simply can find nothing as Gravity Well will stop nobody from Los Grandes, and everybody gets out just fine.
The recalls are a bit delayed. 20 seconds until the Elder Dragon. Furia, they want to try to set up around that. Priority access to the objective. If you can find a pick onto somebody, maybe you can get an odd numbers fight and take more powerful of the two. Watch Zai's positioning. He's going to be lurking, trying to get a carry like Lava or Natuno.
Gravity Well provides a lot of zoning in a choke like this. Zai finds the first hook in, and Hidan weathers the storm. Out comes the Gravity Well, stalling any backup as Hidan launches himself forward. Gut and Patao on one side of the fight. Tuts, IU trying to fight for their lives on the other, but Tuts gets Shurima shuffled into the ground. It's literally unplayable!
And now Los Grandes, they've got 5 members around this. They've got the Chemtech, so remember, providing a lot of additional combat power. Gut trying to find a way in. IU still has the killer instinct as well as Zai's death from below. If there's a will, there's a way. And if you've ever believed, Furia, now is the time to step up.
Oh no, Patao gets jumped on. Lava tries to solo him out, but Patao turns it around. He's huge for Furia, eliminating the mid laner. Goot still waiting to get in the pit, but again, he gets spooked out. Huge damage from Patao to pick up another kill, but Los Grandes secure the objective, and they delete IU, wiping Furia off the face of the map.
But the kills might be enough to delay the game. Los Grandes, they're not able to push, and it's going to come down to the Elder. The Baron is going to expire by the time these respawns come up, more or less. Furia, have they survived for a moment longer? I don't even know, Dia.
God knows. Like, I could not tell you what the next 30 seconds of this game hold, but with the teleport coming in. Hedon is ready to gamble on it. Finds the flash forward into the Call of the Forest God. Tots is going to be knocked up, going to be taken down by the Elder Dragon. It's the pick that Los Grandes need. Trapped underneath the tower, taking ever more damage. They're finally going to be able to knock down the structure and push onto the inhibitor. How much can Los Grandes get?
Los Grandes is gonna win the game, Tia! Lava's got teleport, and now it's an odd numbers fight in their favor! The Nexus Tower's getting focused! Elder in hand!
Zai's hooks mean nothing. You cannot approach the fight. The Sand Soldiers deny everything, nearly taking out Zai, who commits to the front. But in the face of Elder Dragon, what can you do? It's a 3-man ultimate from Betao that means nothing. Furia cannot keep themselves in the